Hello, everybody, and welcome to the businessmagazinewomen.com podcast. Our podcast is focused on promoting women's voices in business, technology, STEM, sports, politics, arts, and culture. In today's podcast, I wanted to talk about innovation and how to be basically an innovative business. To help me talk about this and to help me delve a little bit more into what that means, I've invited Ms. Afke Blanksma. She's with WizzyMaps, and together we'll try to answer these questions for you guys. So, hello, Afke, and welcome to the podcast.
Hello, Monica. Nice being in your podcast.
Thank you so much for coming in. And I would like to introduce you to our people. So, who is Afke Blanksma, and what do they need to know about you before we go into why you're the great person to talk about innovation and like your take on it?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm Afke. I'm a marketing and business developer of WizzyMaps, and actually, what WizzyMaps is, it's a web app, and you can create your own clickable map. Very easy. Don't have to download an app. It's all by your browser. We are a startup, and we just tested on 2 main festivals in the Netherlands, and now we are in the phase of first customers and quite rapid growing. So that's about our business. And what I did before WizzyMaps is that I help students with a social project by setting up a social enterprise. So I worked for an international NGO. It's called Enactus. And Enactus is a program for high potential students. It's about leadership. It's about social entrepreneurship. And there were some great projects. And what I did was from these great projects who were promising to become a social enterprise, I had a program that an accelerator program, so that they really become a social enterprise. But now I'm just running a startup by myself, and it's actually practice what you preach. So that's where I am now.
The WizzyMaps is fantastic. I can't wait to actually talk to you about what it actually does, because when you and I first talked about it, it's got such a wide array of application. You can basically integrate that app into many industries and many functions, basically. So, yeah. But before we get there, the social enterprise, the fact that you worked with children and helped them, guide them to create something that's got a social impact, that's got to be pretty impressive. Like, did you see more innovative thought from a younger generation, or did you see were they less inhibited? Were they less, they had less barriers of thought?
Yeah, and really, they are very creative in solving, this world's problems, actually, and really good that they start small with an idea and they test it, and then they scale it up. And what I worked a lot with students, so from the age of 18 to 25, and what I saw is that they are not very interested in making a lot of money, but they are interested in how can I be valuable for the world, and how can I be part of making these solutions and to make the world a better place. And that's really inspiring. And how can I use entrepreneurship, because I really believe in entrepreneurship, the tech skills, and the social heart. And I think that's what we need for solving a lot of problems in the world. So yes.
That's inspiring to hear about it. So is that why you ended up with WizzyMaps? How did you get to WizzyMaps?
Well,
how did that come about? Yeah.
Well, WizzyMaps is a very easy solution to create your online map. So it's actually also a very nice communication tool, and it's very visual. And what we want is also to work with people who have dyslexia in the future, so that they, because their social skills are very, very strong, so that they can upload the map, and we get more visual communication in the world as well. So that's actually more our social part, and we combine that tech and also with the business mind, because we are in it, we have to make money as well.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
As adults, we don't really have that luxury to just completely go with social enterprises without having the financial aspect as well. So it's called social entrepreneurship. So we're doing good, but we're also trying to make money at the same time. So as adults, we figured out a way of screwing that up, but we're okay. At least we're providing for ourselves, so that's pretty good. All right, so what does WizzyMap actually do? So it's creating the maps, but because you were talking about for a specific case for the festivals that you were talking about.
Yeah.
How did that work? So.
Well, we start with the festivals, and also now we are really focused on festivals because it's spring in the Netherlands, and we have a lot of festivals in spring and summer.
Yep.
So how does it work? It's actually very easy. The first step is that you upload a map from your own design. On that map, you create clickable areas, and each clickable area you fill with content. So we have an all-inclusive service, so we make the map for our customer and we also fill it with content, but we also have a huge launch in May that we have the subscription server, so our customers can do everything by themselves. So they are very flexible and they are fully in control about their own design and their own content.
That's really nice. So it's basically
it's software in the cloud everybody can use actually.
So it's not a platform specific. It has nothing to do with Mac or PC. So everybody can use it. It's fine.
Yeah.
But the really good part about it is that it's basically a PDF of a map or whatever you want to put into the PDF, and then you just build it with blocks of information.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so that is spectacular for a festival. And, there were other applications that I saw on your guys' website with parts and how you can see an exploded view of a part. And it's just completely you go at the, bottom, the lowest part inside, this bigger mechanism, and then you just go to the lowest part so you can see it all. It's all built in there. It's absolutely gorgeous.
And also products, because you can also imagine you have an exploded product view. You can just click on some part of it, and then the information pops up. It's actually the same software, but completely different way of using it. Yeah,
it is excellent, like really excellent. There's so many applications for it. Like, just from I like history, and I like going in time back and seeing history. So seeing one of those old maps, like really like 1700s or 1600s, and populated with stuff from that time, that would be absolutely spectacular. So there's application for the History Channel. There's application for, there's so many applications for this. And that's just one that I'm thinking about.
Yeah, and that's really nice to hear for us, because, when you mention these kind of things, we also get inspired, and also when we talk with our customers, they find new ways of using it, and so that brings a lot of new ideas to us as well. So we really build it with our customers, actually, with the first customers now. Yeah.
It would be a truly immersive experience for children to experience history or art or, like anthropology that way. And we're so much more, we're learning so much faster if we're seeing what's happening. So with what you guys built, it would be so much easier to plug it all in and see it all together. So we'll have a link to the product for sure, because it's so inspiring. But how did the idea for this came around? Like, what spurred the creation of the company? Like, how did you guys come up with this?
Well, it actually all started by, we want to have more visual communication. So in everything we do. So that's actually that's still the most important thing, because you see something, you click on it, and then you get information. And you can get the content by text, but you can also have it by photo, video, or link to another website. So it's a very visual way of talking with your customers, talking with your visitors, or maybe in when you use it in education with your students or the children. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, but so it's not. So your description is WizzyMaps starts where Google stops.
WizzyMap starts where Google Maps ends.
And so it's a map, but you guys are so much more than a map. And so I think it was easier to explain it as a map than so people can understand it. Is that how you guys started? You're like, okay, so let's look at the so is that how you guys started looking at it as like Google first, and then you're like, okay, so we can do it much better than what Google is doing, basically.
No, we wanted to go more in-depth information. We wanted to provide more in-depth information, and that's actually what we do. So we use Google to come from A to B, which works perfect. I mean, we all use it, and we love it. But when you are on a location or when you're on a specific building or a specific spot, you want to have more in-depth information, and that's where WizzyMaps is all about.
That's awesome.
So we combine these two things actually. Yeah.
What are you guys most proud of since you started WizzyMaps? Like what's something that you're seeing that you're really enjoying doing with WizzyMaps?
We really enjoy that we are very focused on the end user, so the visitors of the festival or the people who need a specific part of a product or want to see more in an infographic. So we have a very strong focus on the people who use actually the product, and that's we are really proud of, because we were 2 weeks ago in we had a meeting, and then a communication officer said to us, but I already saw this product at the Noorderzon Festival in Groningen last year, so it's already existing. But I said, no, that were we, because we were testing already. We were testing there. Oh, really? That's but it was so funny that she told, it was so good because I was looking for a veggie burger, so I just clicked in veggie burger, and I know where to find it, oh, that's where we. So that's it. But that, these kind of experience, not these very huge things, but that you can help people in a very simple way to find their way on a specific spot. That's what is really making proud. So that we can have value for an event and value for the visitors of an event. Yeah.
That's really good. And you guys are talking about integrating. You're focused on a visual learning, and you're focused on that visual learning because you're trying to integrate. Trying to bring in more people with dyslexia to be able to see and visualize versus have to read information. So what's driving that?
The founder has dyslexia, and he has a lot of other talents. So, and he really wants to show that all people with dyslexia have talents, and that not focus on the things they don't. I mean, you don't ask them to write long emails. Don't ask them to write this kind of text, But they have other talents. So when we're looking for a designer, we ask for somebody with the talent of dyslexia, so that that because they have very strong other skills and they a strong other focus, actually very creative.
Yeah.
And that's what we need. That's what we need for WizzyMaps. So
correct. So it's the visual. So you have dyslexia, and not you, but the people with dyslexia, and I grew up with that, and you learn coping mechanisms to deal with that. You learn it. You have to learn it, because otherwise the world is going to leave you behind. So you have to learn how to cope with seeing numbers, seeing letters, and writing them the opposite. So you have to be very good at being very precise and very very precise, basically. So I think that does make for a better coder, because they have to see everything clearly. What I mean? So I think it could make for a better coder. And you have to write it clearly because otherwise it's not going to work, obviously.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's a skill that you learn, and you have to learn it, and you have to be very good at it as a person with dyslexia. So it's awesome what you guys are doing because you're playing on their strengths from their quote unquote weaknesses. From So
and we want to put a spotlight exactly on the talent of that. And of course you have to learn to spell the words right and to read your text but there's a lot of more to express yourself and to find your information. And also people who don't have dyslexia find it really easy to work on a way like this because it's very fast and you get very simple the information you're looking for. So
and visually, like it says, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Exactly. So why sit there and write a 1,000-word article when you can actually see what's happening? So
yeah, exactly.
I promise everybody that we'll have the link, and you're probably going to see the link at the bottom of the podcast right now. So, just listen to the podcast and then go check it out. But it's super important. So I know we're talking about this, but I still want to talk a little bit about kids and innovation and your previous job with the NGO. How did you even get to work with an NGO with children?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question?
Absolutely. How did you get to work with an NGO and work with children and So I'm like the innovation part. Like, what brought you into that? Because that was a choice.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting because I worked. I also worked as a marketing consultant for research for a university, for a research department about development of the brains. Difference between boys and girls, but also how you learn, the way you learn, the way kids learn. And I have 2 daughters by myself, so that's also, of course, for me that was a really interesting place to work for.
Yes. You're like, how do my kids think? How are they developing their brains?
But the interesting thing is that I learned from a professor, a really inspiring professor there. She's called Lydia Krabbendam, and she inspired me a lot because she did research about boys and girls, and she learned me that feedback is actually the most important thing. The feedback you give your children, your teenagers, is very important because, for example, when a girl plays with a Barbie and a leg breaks down or just put a leg off, then when it's a boy, you might say, okay, well, just fix it, and then it's done. But when it's a girl, we say, oh, poor little Barbie, bring her to the hospital. She needs care. So you feel the difference,
Massive difference.
Yeah. So
the girl did wrong, and she's not allowed to fix her mistake or fix whatever. She's being told that somebody else has to take care of it.
So that we are and. It maybe it's very small, but when you think about it, when you have these kind of feedback, it's actually quite big. Also when you're on the secondary school and you have your mathematics, and you're not doing it really well as a girl, so your mom might say, you don't care, you can skip that later and just try it now, but skip it the next year. And when you have a boy, you say, just work a little bit harder. You have to get it done and get your work done, and just do it. Yeah. So that's completely different feedback. So when you say that to a girl, well, get it done, and how can I help you? And you try it, then you give it, and it changed. It is an odd feedback does something with your brain. So I think that's for me at least as a parent, and I also hope in my work, I want to be aware of that. anymore.
Yes, ma'am. So I was talking to this about this to somebody in another amazing woman, and we're talking about exactly that. How kids, if you let them be free and let them create their own universe, they'll be a little bit more creative and a little bit more innovative when they grow up. But also about the feedback that we give girls versus boys, and how we don't even realize it really as adults, the impact that it carries for how long, because it stays with them for the rest of their lives. So in order for us to, so basically, what do you think we should do to have girls being raised as boys? Like, what advice would you give parents, basically?
Well, when I talk as a parent, I really what I try to do is that, you know, when I say my oldest daughter, she has dyslexia, but she has really other nice good talents, and she really loves dogs and horses. So she set up her own dog outlet service. You know, she walks with dogs when she has time. You know, but she made her own flyer. She just brought it to the neighbors, and now she really has customers, because we have a lot of keys from that neighbor, you know, but she's learning a lot of things. She's learning about taking responsibility, because they counting on her, because the dog needs to go out. She's learning to plan. She's learning to when we're on a holiday, she has to communicate it in advance, because they have to arrange another solution for the dog. You know, she's learning quite a lot of things, and I really, because she's now 12, but I really let her stimulate that, you know, because she really wants to, and that's just help her with getting that done. And now she's all doing it by herself. So it's, you know, and that has a lot to do with feedback, I think. Yeah.
How did she start doing this? Like, why did she start taking dogs out, like having a dog business?
Probably every parent knows that there's sometimes your children ask for a dog or a cat or a rabbit or whatever.
A bird.
This happens. And then because my husband is allergic, so we can have we can't have animals in our home. So just try to find another solution, you know, to get to take care of animals. So
you didn't tell her no.
That's how it started, actually. Yeah.
You didn't tell her no. You told her, let's find a solution, basically. So did you come up with that solution, or did she come up with?
No, she did it all by herself. Yeah.
That's really smart little girl.
And the thing is now, because she earns a lot more than her weekly pocket money, because she has quite a lot of customers. And now she's a couple of months ago, she's just asked me, Mom, I have saved a lot of money, so I can now buy an iPhone 6. I said, what? You can buy an iPhone 6? You know, and she has to look every morning at her WhatsApp, because some things might change in the dog service. But I say, well, now iPhone time is over, just 50 minutes. So that's, you know, but these kind of things,
So let's see. She's learned. She's figured out a solution to her problem. She's learning responsibility, because she's getting the keys from all these neighbors. So she's learning how to make sure that's all locked and it's all good. And she's learning responsibility because she's, you know, in charge of the dogs as she's walking them. She's managing her time well, so she can take care of all of this stuff. She's learning finance, basically. She's learning how to manage money as well, and what to do with money, because actually she wanted the iPhone so she can manage her business better.
Exactly.
So that's actually a business expense. Your girl is going to be a millionaire quickly at this rate. This is awesome.
And she's really happy, you know, because she loves the animals, and so that's a funny part. And you know, I didn't actually help her with setting it up, but I just help her with you can do 3 a day, take care of your homework, so that's the more, that part I can give her feedback, but not in the way how she does it. That's her business. Yeah.
At 12,
Yeah.
she's managing. This is
Yeah.
really cool for a child. So, did
Yeah.
you see any of that when you worked with the older people, older kids, the 18 to 25? But
Oh yeah, yeah. Of course but that's actually because they have great ideas, and they have so I really help them with the process, and they are getting it done. So I really help them with managing the did you think of this, and try to talk with these people just to test your assumptions and things like that. So that's what I did, actually, more the process, but the great ideas and the responsibility to get from a project to a social enterprise, that's has to come from the students by themselves. That's their responsibility. So and I try to to make these workshops so that they have more knowledge about doing business, and that they can learn from each other. That the peer-to-peer learning. So that's how I facilitate them, but not in their ideas and their ambitions, because that's what the entrepreneur is, actually.
Yeah. So you were there
Yeah.
basically offering like marketing and infrastructure support and that kind of stuff. So, and they just came in with their ideas, and you're kind of like guiding them into how to make money with it, how to
and bringing them to
implement
the
it.
network, and let them think about the most perfect business model for their businesses. Yeah.
That's really good. Are any of them out? Are any of these social enterprises in existence?
Yeah. There are 6 independent social enterprises out. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, actually the program now, it was more a separate program for the more promising startup, but Enactus Netherlands integrated it in their full program. So they actually now have a more kind of incubator and social startup program integrated. So and I think that's really nice.
That is really nice.
Yeah.
How do we teach more of that to children? How do we teach more innovation to children? Actually, do we need to teach them anything? Like, how do we let them be more innovative than we're letting them right now? Because I think it's us letting them.
I think they are innovative. They are innovative. The challenge is to keep them innovative. And with all the rules and all we expect from them, and in our education system, we test them, very frequently, and all these kind of things. They are innovative and creative already, but actually what we do with all our rules and how we think about, they should be, is that we cut it off. I think that's what happens.
So how do we not cut it off? Like, do you think you can, like in the example of your daughter and her, with the dog walking service, how did you let that happen? How did you let her do her thing? Like,
just by asking the right questions. Try to help her because how can I want to walk with dogs. How can I do that? Well, then the neighbors you have to let the neighbors know that you want to do that. How can you and then she comes up with her own ideas about making a flyer and things like that. But it's asking the right questions, help them in the process, and don't be afraid that the answer, if you don't have the answer as a teacher or as a coach, don't be afraid of that, because an unexpected outcome is okay. I think we want to know what the outcome is, but if it's not bordered, then you get these free expressions. So that's I think most important. Yeah.
So basically, just let them answer however they want to answer. Let them don't be afraid of, like, I like what you said, don't be afraid of the unexpected, basically, with them. That is super important. Do you see a difference on what we should tell women on being a little more innovative, and how do we basically let women kind of spark that back up? Because like you said, girls are raised differently than boys. Even today, they're raised differently than boys. You know, in many cases, hopefully they're not. But overall, I think we're still kind of raising girls the same way, to where, you know, like, yes, you broke, you know, something happened and your Barbie doll's leg fell off, and you need to take it to the hospital. How do we teach girls to, like, figure that out on their own, after they've been taught their entire lives that you need to take this doll to the hospital? So they're in their teens right now, you know, early 20s. How do we teach these women, young women, that it's okay to fix the dog, the doll?
The doll. I think we have to really you know, have a good watch at our feedback, and be aware of our feedback to girls, because I think there's no difference, because when I'm in business, I actually don't care if it's a man or women, or, you know, I just want to work with creative and people who have a business mind, that social heart and tech skills. So but I really think it has a lot to do with feedback, because if you know, when good people meet, good things will follow. So if you meet the right people, then, you know, everything will work out. And if we are aware of our feedback to girls, and you know, follow them in their ambitions and stimulate their ambitions and give them the role models they need, and you know, that's also really important, that we not only show them the successful businessman, but also show them the women, and try to be that role model by yourself. I think that works really the best.
Awesome. Talking about role models and mentors, and, you know, people that helped you in your career, have you had anybody that's helped you in your career? Have you had a mentor that's helped you, you know, guide you through work? And have you had anybody that's been that's giving you a helping hand to, like, you know, here's how we're going to do this? And
oh yes, I had a really good mentor from the previous director of Enactus Netherlands. It's Marije Adriaansen. She's a really strong entrepreneurial woman, and what she really gives me a lot of you know, trust in manage your own process, set up the social starter program for Enactus, you know, and then I really experienced that trust in that you can do it, and trust in your capacity, and trust in how you do the things is so important to let you fly, you know. And she also teach me about, you know, don't be, you know, don't get stressed if something doesn't work out. Then that when good people meet, good things will follow. And, you know, you have the good intention, so it will work out, you know, trust on that. And if you really, you know, the point is she didn't really say that, but you really feel that, you know, you and then you fly, and then these things will work out, and good things will happen. So that was really important for me. Yeah,
I want to thank her for doing that, and for telling you that, and for you telling us that, because
definitely,
it's important as an employee, or as when you don't own the company, and a lot of people don't. It's important to have a good manager. It's important to have somebody that helps you, you know, do the best that you can without micromanaging, basically having trusting you that you can do the job, because that's why you're there. So, you know that you can do your job. So having management show trust in you actually helps a lot with, you know, confidence, and with getting things done, with, you know, taking on more responsibility, because you know you can do it, and you know that management can trust you with that. So, and plus you're a little bit more free to bring new ideas to the table, because again, the trust is there. So Yeah, so
exactly. Yeah.
this is fantastic.
Yeah, and also the space, to make mistakes. Sometimes you make mistakes, or but you give also there's room for that, and then you try something else. So
Right.
yeah,
And how would
yeah,
you learn if you're not going to learn from your mistakes? I mean, if
yeah,
you don't have any mistakes at all, if you don't have any little failures here and there, how are you going to know which way to go? Like, I mean, yes, you're
yeah,
going to go this way, this way, this way, but if you don't fail a little bit, you don't know your limits. You don't know the limits to that project. You don't know the limits
yeah,
to anything. So, and plus
yeah.
you can learn and see if that's something that you need to pursue. So, to me, failure is massively important
Yes,
to
yeah,
success, because if you don't know how to fail and pick yourself back up,
yeah,
you're not going to pick yourself back up. So
yeah,
all
yes,
right, so
exactly.
how is it being a woman in business, and especially in the startup world? I know that Netherlands is a lot different than the US. You guys have a little bit more equalitarian society
Yeah.
than we do. But how is it to be a woman in business in the Netherlands?
Well, for me, it's actually I don't. Yeah. Well, I mean, when I have an appointment or a pitch, or I really, I think it doesn't really matter if you're a woman or a man, or I don't feel it. I don't know, but I'm just setting
Yeah.
up my. I believe in what I say, and I believe in my services and the products, and I have the enthusiasm and to and to see what we can do for the company. So that's more what drives me, but not I'm not thinking about men or women. I really don't know. I'm not, it's not in my everyday life actually. Maybe that sounds a bit strange, but
It's a bit
I
strange
don't
because it's so
I don't
nice.
think I don't think about it.
It's so
Yeah,
nice.
yeah,
And like
yeah,
you're a third person to speak with from the Netherlands, and um, that's been the case every time we've talked to women from the Netherlands, women and men. We talked
yeah,
to the Prince of Netherlands, and he's like, "We don't have that." Basically, that's not what necessarily he said, but something to the effect of women and men are pretty equal. And so I see that
yeah,
with every interview that we're doing with Netherlands, with women from Netherlands. It's you don't seem to have that. Women are treated differently here. Women are not allowed to do a lot of the stuff, or there's prejudice against women doing
yeah,
specific things.
yeah,
You guys are not saying any of that, so it's very encouraging to see that from
yeah,
Netherlands.
yeah.
So okay, so
And that's maybe one more thing that I am aware of, more this typical man skills, in sales, just ask for the order, get it done, don't shine only on the soft side of your business, but be prepared that you also have the numbers, and that you can that you're really good prepared also
right.
on that kind of thing. So that's really I remember myself because I really like more the storytelling part of it, but I know, be prepared. This is a meeting maybe with
Right,
potential investors, or
right,
have your homework done and
right.
know about your numbers, and know, because when they ask, then you can level on this with perfectly. But that's, you be aware of that yeah,
So be prepared when you go into a meeting with
yeah,
what your strengths are and what the other side of the equation as well. So
yeah, yeah,
have the numbers and the story together,
yeah,
and
yeah, exactly, yeah,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
So what is culturally that you think created this more of equalitarian society that you guys have? Because it's a little bit more equal than than here. So what can you think of one cultural thing that you guys have, the Netherlands has, that's
um,
different than the U.S.?
Well, I have to think about it, because because I was in Austin, where we met
Yes.
at South by Southwest, and I really love the way the Americans learn the children how to pitch, these pitches, they were awesome, and how they tell about the product, come to the point very quickly. So that's what really inspires me when I travel to the US. The culture thing, when in women, I don't know. Maybe in the Netherlands we have, a really entrepreneurial, innovative uh, um, area, because it's really in our history as well. Maybe that's the point, that it's already there, and we have some good role models in the family. Or I I think about, maybe it's that. I'm not sure, but probably, yeah.
That
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
something we're trying to
yeah,
I'm trying to pitch it and figure out a way to bring a little bit more of that here. We're
yeah,
very entrepreneurial here as well.
yeah,
There's a lot of that already here, but somehow we still need to bring women out of the numbers are very low for women in politics. The numbers are very
yeah,
low for women in technology, very low for women in medicine. They're still very, very low. And compared to, we're 50% of the population, so we kind of need to balance it out a little bit. You guys are, pretty much equal. Like you have, it's 50% women in politics and 50%
yeah,
women in technology
yeah,
and all that. So the differences are kind of stark. So I was
yeah.
trying to figure something out for that. But anyway,
Maybe we have the child care, and how you do the things together
the
in a
parental leave,
family. Maybe that's, I know that could be something.
that is something because we
Yeah.
don't have that.
And I know there are also countries who really, when you compare it to Sweden, that's really fantastic how they, the men and women combine these things. But maybe that's a point that we do. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely
Yeah.
have better
Yeah.
parental leave.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of companies that are coming from Europe bring that with them. So
Yeah.
there's, Spotify has parental leave. So not it forces, but it encourages dads
Yeah.
to take parental leave. So it gives moms time to go back to
Yeah.
work, and
Yeah.
so it's spectacular what I'm seeing out of companies out of the Netherlands actually. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. All right, so do you have time for a couple more questions at the end, for a couple of personal questions?
Oh yeah. Sure.
All right.
Okay.
I'll try to be quick. What is a book that you'd like to read, and something that you would like to give out to people?
A book I really liked is, I read it in December this year. Three Simple Steps. It's not new, but for me it was new, and it's about meditation, believe in your goals, and how you get things done. And it's really easy to read, and when you do that three simple steps he describes, then things really change. And for me, it really changed something, because I do now every morning have my silent moment, and then and that really describes the book really well. And then setting your goals, and how to become, how to let things work for you. And actually quite simple. It's also three simple steps, and I would really recommend that. Yeah, yeah.
So they're
Also
actually pretty
also
simple.
for the lazy people. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So there are pretty simple steps for what
Three
you're
simple
saying.
steps. Yeah.
Sorry. All right, so
Yeah.
I'll write it down. We'll
I
have it.
think a very good business book, and yeah.
We'll definitely add that to the podcast. All right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Good.
what's the craziest thing about you? Tell us something that not that many people know about you.
Well, what really don't know about me is that I think I really, how I relax is that I really love prawn fishing. And
Shrimp fishing. All
yeah,
right.
yeah. So yeah, now the season starts, because I was at the beach. We had some very nice warm days last weekend. but the prawns weren't there yet because the seawater was too cold. But I know they will come. They will come. And then I really, I really like it when I have my fishing net, go into the sea, and just very relaxed. And every time when I put my net off, and then there's another one, and then I go, and then, it's perfect meditation for me. And I'm at the beach, and the I really love the sea and the ocean and being there and just doing my prawn fishing there, and then I'm very, very happy and can really get energized. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, the ocean does that, and the fact that you're by yourself, it's meditative to just go scoop up some shrimp.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. One last question, and then I'm sure you got to go. But one last question. You have one massive billboard. What message would you like to put on it, and where would you put it? So, what message would you put on this billboard, and where would you put it?
Okay. I will put a quote that I had from my mentor. When good people meet, good things will follow. That's for me very important in doing business. That when you work together, you get things done and you get better solutions. So I will put this billboard at every accelerator program, every incubator program, every startup building, try to find partners, try to meet people, talk a lot with people, and when good people meet, good things will follow. So that's how it works. And that is how it works. And it's a very inspiring quote, actually, because it goes back to that trust that we were talking about earlier. Exactly. Exactly.
The going and open, and like telling people what it is, and just being honest about it, and just good things will happen, because if everybody's open like that, we can help each other out. So.
Yes, exactly. And also when things from your service don't work already, but you're working on it, and we can put a lot more features also in WizzyMaps. But I said, no, we don't do it in this, but maybe a half year, because we are not ready for that. That's also, just be honest and that I think then you get it also back from the other people. So that's really what I figure out. Yeah.
That is awesome. All right, awesome. Thank you so very much, Afke. I think I've taken too much time of your time today, as it is. Too much of your time today, but I want to say thank you again for coming in. I really appreciate it, taking your time and meeting us from 7 hours ahead into the future. Into the future with Afke Blanksma. I want to say hello to everybody that's tuned in, and let you know that we'll have all of Afke's information and WizzyMaps. WizzyMaps.com, so it's pretty simple. You can go check it out right now. We'll have all that information at the bottom of the podcast. And again, we're the Business Magazine for Women. We're a podcast featuring women in business, as you can see, and in technology and sports and STEM and politics and arts and culture. And you can find us on all our social media at thebusinessmagazineforwomen.com. And again, this is Monica and Sophie. I'm your podcast host for the day, and we'll see you all next time. Thank you so much, and bye, Afke. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.